Ever since I was a young child, I was a believer. Why? Because my father showed me and lived the example of what a Christian is. All my life, I've heard this quiet voice inside of me. It said, Mark, there's more. Mark, there's more. I said, what does that mean? As I grew, I became a father, and I did all the things that I thought I should be doing. I heard the voice that said, Mark, there's more. I said, Lord, what can I do to show you how much I love you? How can I do something that will show you that I appreciate what you did for me? He said, Mark, there's more, but I never knew what it meant. Fast forward to 7 years ago. We were in Florida. My wife had a heart attack. She was supposed to have a 3-way bypass. It ended up being a 6-way bypass that God saw us through. And he said, Mark, there's more. I said, Lord, what does this mean? Fast forward to 2 years ago. We moved up here to Kentucky. And in the first 2 years, my wife was in the hospital 5 times. And I said, Lord, and he said, Mark, there's more. I said, what does that mean? 2 years ago, I was sitting downstairs. It was 7:15. It was a Saturday morning. We were having Ironman 2 in August. And a man came early that day. His name was Larry Coleman. He didn't know he had a divine appointment. I didn't know he had a divine appointment, but Jesus knew. Larry came in early and sat down, and I poured out my heart to that man. I told him all the stuff that was going on, and I asked him a question, very direct question, because I know he is a godly man. And he actually said, I said, Lord, how do I live with this? And Larry said to me as he backed up and leaned forward, because he knew there was an answer coming from me that he didn't want to be too close to. He said, Mark, you don't. Christ in you, the hope of glory, will live that life through you, in you, with you, and as you. I said, what? Where do I find that? I've read the Bible. I don't see that. He said, you have a book that you had for 3 months that you've never read. I want you to read the preface in the first chapter. If it doesn't grab you, then it's not for you. I read the preface and I said, I've got to read the rest of this book. But then I read the first chapter and I was hooked. And in that first chapter, it says, Jesus Christ is the life. And I said, Lord, what does that mean? How do I do that? He said, turn to John 14:6. I did. I had read that before. It says that I am the way, the truth, and the life. I said, yeah, Lord, I've read that before. I know what that means. That means that you will tell me the truth, that you will show me the way, and you live the type of life that I want to live and need to live to be pleasing to you. He said, no, Mark, that's not what it means. He said, I am the way in you. I am the truth in you. I am your life. I said, how do I do that? He said, read verse 20. In that day, you will know that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me, and I am in you. Wow! Fast forward to 3 weeks ago. I had no idea Ernie was going to invite me to stand up here and talk with you guys this morning. I had no idea that I was going to get invited to talk to the choir this Wednesday night. And I was reading John again. And I wanted to know more about what it means to live the dependent life, to live completely and totally dependent on Him. Not independent of Him, but dependent on him. And I got to John 11. And that's about Lazarus being raised from the dead. And I read that, and he said, Mark, that is the absolute perfect picture of being born again. Because he says, roll the stone away. And they did. And he said, Lazarus, come forth. That is where my church has accepted the substitutionary death on their part. I paid a price and they accepted that price so that we will not be separated forever. He said, but there's more. This is the more. He said, loose them and let them go. Wow! Cut the grave clothes off. You will not walk in those grave clothes anymore. Your new identity is in me. I am your identity. You no longer live, but I live in you. And you live through faith in me. That, my friends, is our identity. Christ in you, the hope of glory. Walk in that today.